Hey everyone, it's Kai from Cool Collectibles back again for another review. This time it's the Transformers Masterpiece MP58 hoist. So this comes on the back of Trailbreaker that released sometime, I think late last year, Q4. And they're holding to their schedule now with hoist and then MP44S, I think it is, which is the toy version of Optimus Prime. And then I can't even remember the number now. I don't know if it's 56 plus or 58 plus or whatever, but I think it's the Diaclone repaint of this particular mold, I think it is, or some combination of this and Trailbreaker. So I haven't actually gone through the transformation yet, but by all accounts it is quite different to Trailbreaker, despite the very obvious similarities in the car mode, which is a great difference to the original G1 toy, which was pretty much a repaint. But just going through everything before I go through the accessories and so on. Here's the box as you would expect. If you're familiar with the line, this is the typical style for these Carbots. Love that front there, and then all the various styles of what you can do with the figure itself. And I love that sort of group shot if it focuses with all the figures there. So a bit of a mix of Season 1 and Season 2 there. But I will get a group shot once I get him transformed into bot mode. But before I do that, all the accessories, it does come with this grappling hook feature, which I think is, I don't know if it's identical or very similar to the one that came with the grapple figure. I don't actually even know where I put that. It must be in one of the boxes somewhere, because I do have all of the figures in bot mode, unless it's the Diaclone repaint. And for this one, I think you can just insert it into the hole right there. So if you do that, it pretty much just sort of sticks on there, and you can articulate it around, etc. And pretty much try to replicate some of those scenes with grapple, I think it was. So it's good that they add these accessories for all of those options. I think this tip here can also rotate. It seems very tight, but I think you can rotate that down so it sort of faces down vertically. So plenty of options there on posing this up. The gears here don't, or the pistons here don't quite work, but minor point there. So overall, a nice little accessory. Also comes with the alien face mask from that Hollywood episode. I'm assuming, I can't remember if the original mask came with Trax or Sunstreaker or Grapple. I can't actually remember anymore, but I'm assuming it's the same mold. Again, I'll probably have to grab that out of my storage boxes somewhere. But you can replicate that scene if you wish. Comes with some blast effects, which is a nice translucent plastic, similar to the ones that they gave with Optimus and so on. So you can continue that theme if you have that in your display. Comes with the swap out front grille, which is the cartoon sort of style matte finish as opposed to the chromed finish here. Even though I do love the cartoon aesthetic, most of the time I have the figures in bot mode, and I do like the splash of chrome and so on that you see, so I rarely swap it out for these matte cartoon pieces. But for those that have that sort of style in their display, it's always great to have those options. But looking at the grille here, I do like that chrome. Also comes with a swap out right fist. I'll keep it in the little cannon, grey cannon mode, I think, so I won't use that. Comes with a swap out face. I'm not sure if that's focusing or not, but I'll have a closer look at that when I get him into bot mode. I can't remember which scene or which head sculpt he had in the cartoon for that scene with grapple and wheeljack and so on, but we'll see when I get to that. It comes with a hammer or something, so I'm assuming this attaches somehow in bot mode, or unless he just holds it like this, but that looks like a keyed peg there, so we'll see how that fits in bot mode. And he comes with his spanner here, so I do like the chroming on that as well. The chroming is very nicely done on this. So I'll probably end up using this and have him just holding it like some of the other figures I've got them holding their accessories. And lastly, he comes with his collector card, which looks pretty dynamic. I do like the way it's styled there, but as always, I would prefer if the front just had the original sort of concept art or static pose, A pose that they used to have for all of their figures. But on that's pretty much all the accessories you get. So now I'll swap over and give you guys a closer look at his car mode. Right, so here it is up close, and I think they've had a really good representation here of the actual Toyota. I think it's a Toyota Hilux. I guess the variant of this and the one that came with Trailbreaker comes with different variants through the 80s, 90s and so on. So I think it's a pretty good mix of some of what we saw on the cartoon and what you can get in real life back in the day. I do love the paint application. For the most part, all the green and the black and so on is all painted. There is a bit of green plastic on the hood here. So I think the square piece at the top is painted, then there's a plastic piece, and then this is painted. But fortunately, mine, you can't really tell that much of a difference, even in the lighting. So that doesn't really bother me too much. I love the tamped on insignia there right in the center, which is great. So overall, paint application wise, I haven't seen any major issues there, and you can sort of get a feel for the legs in there, and somehow with some magic they've folded all the arms in there as well. So apparently it's easy to get out of car mode into bot mode, but getting it back in is a little more complicated, but I rarely do that anyway. But for the most part, this is looking pretty fantastic. Some sort of play features, you can fold that out as a little tow bar thing. So this little hook at the back there, you can just put some of the other cars on there and drag them around, which is nice. And then I think all of these features, you can see these features on the car mode in the various episodes. I think these doors can open, I'm not quite sure. I might need to spread those out a little bit. And I think he's got similar details in the hood when you open that up as to what Trailbreaker had. Wheels, unfortunately no rubber on those, but they've done that for quite a while now. Probably starting with Hound, I think, didn't have any, which was okay because they did fold the wheels up in the transformation, but I don't see any folding of the wheels here. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the car mode. I've heard the transformation to bot mode is quite a bit easier than Trailbreaker, pretty simple, so I'll see how I go. And once I'm done with that, I'll give you guys a look at the bot and my thoughts on that. So hold on. Actually, before I do the transformation, I did check out the Takara transformation video, and opening the doors, what I was doing wrong was trying to pull out from the top here, whereas the video clearly shows that there's a little peg hole that you might be able to see right there, and a pin on the door right there. So once you get that peg unpegged from below, you can just pull it out on a little hinge here and open it up like so on both sides. And then here, to get the hood open, you just sort of slide this front bit slightly down like that, and then get your fingernail in there and clip it out. You just have to be careful somewhere, just to put your fingernails somewhere where you're not going to chip off the paint or anything like that. That was the main thing I was worried about, particularly when the hinge comes up on the side here. You need to pull it up and out a little bit so it's got enough clearance to open up. But once you do, you can see some of the detailing and paint application in there on the engine cover or whatever that is, filter or something, air intake. But you get the idea there to open up, and I guess you can pose them up with some of the human figures from, I can't remember if they came with Optimus or Bumblebee, but you get the idea. You can then pose them up like that. So a few play features there in car mode, but now I will get on to the transformation itself. Thanks. Alright, so here he is transformed, and overall it wasn't too bad. I would probably say it's a little simpler than Trailbreaker was, and definitely very different in the transformation sequence, which is Some pretty amazing engineering on the Takara engineer's part. The overall styling here, it looks like he just pretty much jumped straight out of the 80s cartoon screen. Some people don't quite like the non-crotch look here, but that is very cartoon accurate, so I for one love that style. The areas of the transformation that were a little bit tricky, these doors caused me a little bit of a headache just to make sure they sat the right way on both sides at the end of the transformation. The arms, doing all of this rotation of the particular panels and so on was a little bit confusing at first, but after that I did get the hang of it. Clipping them into place, there's two separate pieces here. Clipping them into place did take quite a bit of force, so just watch out for that. But in the end, it looks pretty good. I think there were a bit of complaints about the gappage in the shoulders there, but for the most part, I don't think it looks too bad, to be honest. That little hook, or that little, I don't know, stabilizer piece there was a little bit strange, but it looks like it's just there to stop the these back panels from collapsing inwards. So overall, that's okay. The only other bit was, I guess, clipping in the backpack here. The backpack sort of folds away pretty neatly there, but pegging it into the back of the crotch piece here does take a little bit of force. Initially, I thought I had it in place, but it kept coming out. And thanks to the folks over at TFW, some of them just told me to push just that little bit harder. And it did click in place with a pretty loud click, so just watch out for that. You do need to put a bit of force, so just keep your thumbs on here and your fingers on the back piece here and just push in, and it should clip into place fairly nicely. But once it's all done, he does look pretty fantastic. I love, overall the articulation is pretty good. He can get into some pretty natural poses, like I've got him there. You know, obviously without the waist piece, he doesn't have any sort of rotation or anything like that, but that's pretty much par for the course for, I guess, the Seekers and a few others, so I'm not too fussed about that. But he does have some nice sort of ratcheted knees there, and I do like the fact that he's got that ankle action here as well, and the rocker that comes out a bit like that, so you can get him into some pretty decent action poses as well if you see fit. But I like the way that he's got that. Arm-wise, he's got the anchor double jointed elbow there, so the top joint and the bottom joint. So just be careful how you sort of fold those away. And then he's got these shoulder pieces. I'm not sure if they come out. They might come out just a little bit to sort of butterfly forward, but I'm going to leave it in that position anyway. Head articulation is pretty limited along that headpiece there. But as you might see that I've swapped it out for the head sculpt that's got the U under the mouthpiece. I did double check I think it's the Master Builders episode, and it looks like for the most part he did have this head sculpt along with the yellow grapple figure, so that's what I'll go for in my display. But that's pretty much it. Overall, it transforms fairly neatly on the back there. And overall he does look very, very nice. Paint application wise, I didn't have any issues with any flaking or paint chipping on the transformation. You do just need to be a bit careful on where you put your fingers and so on, so just watch out for all of that. I'll just flick that back up again. But it does turn out pretty well. Paint surface wise, it's a little bit inconsistent here and there, but on my figure at least, most of the colours are fairly consistent between the painted and non-painted, so you get a lot of unpainted green here, but on mine it seems to match pretty well with the painted green, so I'm not too fussed about that. And similarly for the yellow here, this part here is painted but this is not, but they seem to match pretty well. Even the pearlescent grey here and the white or the grey here seems to match fairly well, so overall I'm pretty happy with the way he's turned out. So I might just finish up with side by side with some of the other figures I'll get out of the cabinet, so I'll be back in a sec. Alright, so here he is with some of the carbots out of the cabinet, and for the larger ones with Grapple here and Trailbreaker, I love how they scale so well with each other. And then you've got just a couple of other examples of the smaller ones with Hound and Blue Streak. So I guess the only one I'm missing is the larger one with Optimus and the smaller one with Bumblebee. But overall you get the idea. These just look so good next to each other in the collection and really do scream G1 Transformers cartoon. So if you're into the cartoon aesthetic, this series so far, from maybe about Inferno and Grapple or Sunstreaker onwards, has really taken, I guess, the car mode where they are pretty damn accurate to the original licensed vehicle, but then taking it to the next level with these cartoon accurate robots. And you'll see the major differences there in bot mode for both Trailbreaker and Hoist. It's just amazing what the designers were able to do with that Hilux mold, and I for one am definitely glad that they were able to achieve what they have. This is pretty much nostalgic heaven for me, and I'm glad that they're continuing this series. Hopefully they announce a few more this year. I'm actually hoping they announce some Constructicons, I guess, to go with this Master Builder theme, if they decide to continue that. Because if they decide to make the 6 of them and they only release 2 or 3 a year, it is going to take 2 or 3 years at least, so hopefully they get on that ASAP. But other than that, hopefully you like my thoughts on Hoist here, and can give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. I do have a few more things coming up over the next few months, so hopefully you can stick around for all of that. But until then, thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers. Bye.